All right, good morning. Today, our math focuses on making moves on a grid. So yesterday we were identifying locations on a grid using letters and numbers, letters across the bottom, numbers up the side. And today we're just going to take a little shift and talk about moving within that grid. And we're not worried so much about letters and numbers on the side. In fact, you won't see the grids labeled today. We're going to be focusing on being able to communicate how to get from one place to another using directional words. Now, the directional words that we're using today are up and down and left and right. And you'll see there's a little arrow here to remind you which way each of those directions is. You might also see in the future kind of a move towards the directions of north and south. And then if north is pointed up, then right would be east, left would be west, and down would be south. So just something to keep an eye out for in the future. So looking at this example, this is what most of your questions today are going to kind of remind you of or look like. Here it says, Daniel picks up Sue, Tom, and Jan on his way to school. He drew a map to show his walking route. So here's the map he drew. And then you should be able to look at that map and kind of realize these next few things. So Daniel starts at home. So just like when we're talking about patterns or other things that we're communicating, we want to talk about where we're starting. So he's starting at Daniel's home. Down 2 squares, right. Squares, 8 squares right. 3 squares up to Tom's house. 3 squares left, 5 squares up to Jan's house, and 6 squares right to school. When you count squares, you do not count the square you start on. It's just like when you're taking steps, you wouldn't count where you start, you would count that first step forward. And when you change direction, you're going to start counting again. So here's a different route from Daniel's home to school. On this route, he does not pick up his friends, so he goes 4 squares up, 11 squares to the right, and 2 squares up. That's how he gets to school. And now it's your turn. So you're going to draw each walking route on the map. I'll do this first one with you. You're going to start at school. Need to find where it says school. So right here, this is where I'm going to start. And I'm going to go 2 squares to the right. 2 squares down. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And 3 squares to the left. 1, 2, 3. And I end at my apartment. So end at the apartment. This is where we used to live. And you're going to do that for the next one as well. Here it tells you the end. You've got to figure out the start. Oh, I like this question. So you might have to work backwards. I like that. Thinking. Number 2, a walking route is shown on the map. Write the directions for each route. So here we see the direction of the arrows. So I can see the starting spot. And what are we doing? Well, you start off by going up 2. So I started at, maybe I can use my typewriter here. I started at the school. And then I went 2 squares up. 2 squares right. 2 squares down. 1 square right. Oops, let's keep things consistent. Which means the same. 2 squares up. And I'm ending at the pond. Okay, so there's an example of how that could look for you. Then you're going to do it again for question B. On the next page, it says draw a route from one place to another and then describe your route. If you want to challenge yourself, you could try to draw a route that uses the least amount of steps, but it's completely up to you how you go to the different places. You're going to start at the town hall. You're going to start at the town hall, which is here, and you need to get to the zoo. Draw your route, and then you're going to describe it underneath. And down here, you're starting at the pool. You're going to school. And you're ending at the house. Where's the house? Here it is. Okay. How do the directions change in questions 3, part B, if you start at the house and go to the pool? Describe your first move when going from the house to the pool. So when you're going from the house to the pool, what would your first move be? On the last page, draw a path to match these clues. The path goes from one square to another. The path goes up or down more than it goes left or right. Right directions for the path. What I might do is I might indicate where I'm starting and where I'm finishing. And then I'd have to work out a path that fits this criteria where we go up or down more than we go left or right. Lots of different ways you could answer that question. Here it says, draw a path that matches these clues. This path goes from one point to another, so point to point. And when we're talking about one point to another, I've just realized a mistake here. So if this one says, I didn't read the question carefully enough, but it says it goes from one square to another. So we're kind of working with squares. So one square to another. But this one down here goes from one point to another, and points are where the lines intersect. So one point to another. The path goes down, right, up, and left. So you're using all 4 directions. And it ends 1 point away from where it starts. So there's the start, there's the end. I need it to go in all 4 directions, and I need it to end 1 point beside where it starts. Then I'm going to write directions for my path, and then I'm done my work for today. So hopefully this walkthrough helps you get going on your work, and best of luck. Hope you learned something.